Alright, what's going on? Today I'm doing Metamorphosis, which is part of Incognito CTF. This room is new in TryHackMe. We will be focusing on getting the user flag and the root flag. So this machine is kind of medium in difficulty. There are some new stuff to learn. So let's get started. So before anything, we have the nmap scan run, revealing we have a couple of open ports. We have 202, 80, 139, 445, and 873. So this 873 or rsync running on 873. Rsync stands for remote sync. Remote sync is a tool to do synchronization for local and remote directories with external hard drives. So you can consider it as a sync tool for your, much like OneDrive, Dropbox. You sync between local and remote directories. You can do the same with rsync by choosing a remote location. So basically, you can get more information about rsync by googling it. So you can say rsync is Linux actually Linux-based tool. It can be used to sync files between your remote and local servers. Okay, so now we have an idea of what is running on the machine. Let's start enumerating by going to the web page, see how the web page looks like. After that, we can decide whether to launch directory search. So basically, let's get first the IP address and navigate to port 80. So it's a typical default Apache page. So there is nothing on here. Now the typical next step you would do, guys, is to launch directory search. So we would use go buster to find directories that may be sensitive. So basically the command is sudo go buster -u, define the URL, and then define the word list, user share word lists, directory buster, and then we define directory list to medium. And then if we want to include file extensions for possible pages, we can type -x, define the extensions that we would like to enumerate. PHP, for example, is common, and txt for plain text pages. So hit enter, and we have a problem. So it seems to me that we're missing the dir keyword here. So just type dir and hit enter. All right, so we have one page, index /index PHP and /admin. So if we hit /index.php, most probably we will end up with the same page we are at right now. Accessing admin 403 forbidden. If we try to click on view page source, we see there is a message. Make sure admin functionality can only be used in development environment. So this is seems to be a production environment, and the admin page can only be opened by accessing the development environment. So this seems that we have to make some changes in the configuration of the Tomcat server, namely in the web ENI file. So if you are able to change the production to development, we can just open the page. Let's see if we can hit that file. We can try to look for the file somewhere, but for now, the HTTP server is done. Let's switch to rsync now. All right, so for SMB, there is nothing to do. If we get back to the nmap scan, we are done with 80. SMB, there is nothing to do actually. Let's now enumerate the rsync. So how to enumerate the rsync? Basically, we can use nmap scripting engine. So let's quit, and here we can go to or type ls-la user share nmap scripts. Here we would like to list all the scripts that have the keyword rsync. So grep rsync. So we have two scripts we can use within our scan to just enumerate. So most probably I'm going to use the rsync list modules. I'm going to list the directories or files that are synced. All right, since we know that rsync is a sync tool for directories and files, I'm going to try to use that module to sync these files, to list these files and directories. So sudo nmap -- script. Okay, -p, define the port 873, and lastly we define the target machine IP address. Okay, so there is one sync here, conf, all confs or configurations. So now we know what to access in rsync. It's time now to use the rsync tool to list these shares. So let's see if I have rsync installed. Yes, I have it. So type -av -- let's type help first. Let's check that out. The help list. So rsync option, we put our options here, and then here we define the address that is running the sync, and here source. Source, most probably it is the conf here. Okay, now we are able to construct the address here. Still, we have to figure out a way how to, what options are we gonna use. So info, debug, quiet, checksum, archive. Okay, archive. And let's see here, backup, update, in place, append, verify, -sdrs, transfer directory without recursing. Okay. Here V for version as well. Okay, let's build one. rsync. If we go up, there was something I saw here. Okay. So I'm going to run now rsync and define the address. rsync. Then we define the address. /conf. See if this works. Okay. So we get a list of the files now. So see, we have access, bluezone, debconf, ldap, lvm, mysql, php, ports, resolve, smb, web. So files of interest could be the mysql ENI and web app ENI and access. So we are interested now in retrieving those files. How to retrieve them? Basically, we have to copy them to our machine. To copy these files, what we can do here, we can just repeat the same command, okay? But we have to type here okay, I think we cannot just name files here. We can copy all of the files one at a time. So let's define dot as the destination directory and run. Skipping directory, ls, no. Let's do this. Make directory rsync So we have a directory here, rsync, where it is. So now we will host the files here. If we run this, rsync. Or how about this? Skipping directory. If I enable the archival mode, -a ls-cd rsync. Alright, so we have the files now. Let's take a look, or let's sneak around this file. Cat, or let's type nano access conf. Login access control table. Let's see if there's something interesting here we can find. So all of these lines are commented out. We are interested. Alright, let's type nano MySQL, access to MySQL file. See if they are hard written credentials. So these are the configs for the MySQL server. Nothing much of an interest here. Let's type web app now. So for the web app, we have hard written credentials, or plain credentials, plain text credentials, hard coded credentials, Tom and the cat. But here is the environment is set to prod. If we modify this to development, as I mentioned earlier in the video, we can access the admin page. So change to dev, save, and now just upload the files back. So how to upload the files back? rsync -a, type the file name, and then the destination server is rsync /conf /web app.ini. All right. Let me see if we can access the admin page now. All right, so now we are able to access the admin page. So get info of users. Let's take a look at the page source. So there is an input field here where we are able to type a username and submit. For example, let's try user. Nothing. How about admin? So here the tool is supposed to give us information about the users, or about the user we type into the input box here, but nothing is shown back to us. So basically sudo add more features. All right, so this is an input box and is the place where we can do a lot of testing, including the cross-site scripting, SQL injection, and the other OWASP top 10 vulnerabilities. Since we have an input box, we can now do a lot of several testing. We can spend a day doing tests, but basically, because I have prepared the machine before, the way to do that is to test the input box for SQL injection. So let's configure the browser to run with purpose. So here is the proxy settings set as they are. Fine. Now let's set the intercept to be on and type in, let's say, user, submit. Now we see a request here. Let's copy that and turn the intercept back to off. So cd back nano request. Now we can use SQL map. So SQL map -r request, And then let's define what we would like to enumerate. So basically dash dbs dash dash level 5 as usual dash dash risk 3, and we would like to see if there is a possible way if it's possible to get an OS shell if there is, you know, SQL injection vulnerability. So OS dash dash OS dash shell. So looks like the DBMS so the deep backend DBMS is MySQL. Go to skip test fail for specific or other DMS. Click type on yes. So as you can see, the post parameter username is vulnerable. Do you want to keep testing the others? Type in no. Next, as you can see, next question is which web application language does the web server support? It's clearly PHP. Oh, 4. Okay. Do you want SQL map to further try to provoke the full path disclosure? Nope. All right. What do you want to use for writable directory? All right. So it's gonna probably for the shell here. So basically type common locations. And now we get, as you can see, the OS shell. So now we have to just stabilize the shell. If you type PID, to retrieve the command standard output, type in yes. PWD, sorry, PWD. Yeah, so the command execution now works. So what to do now? Let's retrieve some sort of Python reverse shell to connect back to us. So basically, if we click here on reverse shells, yeah, thank you. Let's see if we have some sort of one-liner we can use. Python one-liner. I don't have Python one-liner. Is that possible? Bash shell, one-liner PHP shell. Okay. Let's try this one. Let's first work on this command. So here we change the parameters. If config. Here 4545. So here nc-lvp 4545. Paste in this one. No output, didn't work. Okay, try something else. So most probably we can try the netcat one. Again, we have nothing. Okay, let's try this. So here, change this one to 4545. And the IP. Yeah, this one worked. This one worked. That's good. Okay, so who we are? We are the dub data user. The next step is to conduct some sort of privilege escalation. So basically, you can upload linpiece, you can upload any other tool you want, but for this scenario, we have uploaded a tool called PSPY. So if I go now to GitHub and show you what is PSPY. So you'd like to monitor the Linux processes running under the root. So what we can do now, we can just grab a copy of PSPY and download it to our machine. Or we can download directly from here. Let's take static version, small version. Let's try the small one. So wget and there is no internet in the machine, so let's do it on our own. Download it to my machine, and from my machine we just transfer the tool back. So wget, so PSPY is here, Python 3-m http.server. Oops, it's not working now. Okay, so ls cdtemp wget http my IP address. Type in the port, and then the file name is pspy64s. py64s ls. So now we have ps64. So the tool is here. Just now we give it execution permissions. pspy64s. Now run the tool, pspy64s. Okay. So now we are listening on the processes running as root. Let's take a look now at these processes. So here is the web server process, nothing suspicious. SMBD, that's fine. Alright, we have this one, curl, hey HTTP. So there is something, a process that's performing curl on the current machine with this parameter admin set to this value. Probably there is something done here. So what we can do now, we can just set tcpdump on my machine to listen for what is being done on that machine. So we can do that. Yeah. All right, so what is next? Let's run tcpdump now on my machine. tcpdump -i any for anything on all the interfaces, and then yeah, that's it. Okay, so sudo let's see if we can sniff on the connections running on here. So we are catching up something. These are ARP requests, I guess. There is nothing relevant until now. I just wanted to know what is this doing? This one. So since here it is curling something, trying to access something on the local machine, if I sniff on the connections, I should be able to retrieve the contents of the communications. Okay, I have something easier to do. So NSE-LVP, no, we can't do that. So here we have the port. Let's see if the port is defined. So it's running on port 1027. Let me define this on my Tcpdump command sudo tcpdump -i tune 0, defining the interface of the TryHackMe, and then port 1027. Okay, seems like I cannot catch that from my own machine. Let me do that here. Oh, again, I'm out. Okay, let me reconnect. Okay, so now we know that there is something being accessed on the local machine on port 1027, and it is a current process under the root user. So in order to know what is going on, we need to sniff the connection on the machine. So I tried to just do that on my machine, but it didn't work. So now let me try the other way around. Let's do it on the same machine. Since these are done in the background, we can just sniff those connections, right? If we type tcpdump, so here tcpdump -i loopback. So here -w, let me define a pcap file. So -w could be anything you want, capture or curl.pcap -v. Permission denied. Okay. So now 11 packets. So this line keeps incrementing as more packets are being captured by tcpdump, and these packets are being also written on the pcap file we specified here. Next step is we launch Python server on the target machine and use wget here on my own machine just to download this file and examine it. Alright, so we have now a file curl.pcap. Let's transfer this file to the web server directory pcap into var www.html ls-la var html, and there is the file. Let's download the file. Okay, here curl. Oh, come on, man, come on. /curl pcap. Yep, download. Desktop is fine. Okay, cd back, wireshark, curl.pcap. Okay, so I have several files. Let's take a look at this one. Get admin or /admin. Or after that, there is an OK response. Let's see what does the response contain. Line paste, text data, and here is the private key, SSH private key. So copy that, right click, as printable text is okay. Now let's go back to, I'm just jammed here. Let me just go to another directory. So nano id rsa, permissions, ssh-i id rsa, and then okay, now the user. So basically we have to find what is the user that we will use to log into the SSH. So basically, since there is no defined user, I'm going to try my luck with root. If root login is allowed, we can just log in. Type yes, and yes, worked. This is the final step in the machine. Now let's go ahead and grab the root flag. So see where we are first. cd root ls cat root. This is your root flag. Now the user flag, probably here, cat user txt. Okay then, and done. So that was it. Thank you for watching.